sound of a distant, old-fashioned train whistle, followed by the gentle chirping of crickets. Florida is famous for a lot of things. Theme parks, beaches, alligators. But what most people do unknow is that it's also home to one of the most mysterious and downright chilling ghost stories in American history. It's a story that's been whispered about for over a century. A tale of a phantom locomotive that still barrels down a track that no longer exists. This is the story of the St. Johns River ghost train. Our story starts back in the late 1880s. A brilliant engineer named Henry Flagler was building his Florida East Coast Railway, carving a path through the wild, untamed swamps and forests of the state. One of the most challenging parts of this project was constructing a massive railroad bridge over the St. Johns River, near a place called Doctor's Inlet, just south of Jacksonville. It was a treacherous job. The land was marshy, the weather was brutal, and yellow fever was a constant threat. Many workers, sadly, lost their lives during the construction. They were buried in unmarked graves right there, along the very tracks they helped to build. Finally, in 1889, the bridge was complete. It was a triumph of engineering, but on one fateful foggy night, just a few months after it opened, tragedy struck. A passenger train was making its way toward the bridge. The engineer, peering through the thick, soupy fog, couldn't see the warning signals. Another train was already on the bridge. By the time he realized his mistake, it was too late. The collision was catastrophic. A massive explosion, a horrific crash. And the train, along with everyone on board, plunged into the dark, murky waters of the St. Johns River. Due to the treacherous currents and the depth of the water, the wreckage was never fully recovered. The train, and the souls aboard it, were lost forever to the river. Now, here's where it gets really spooky. The original wooden bridge was eventually replaced with a modern one. The old tracks were torn up and abandoned, but the train never left. For over 100 years, locals and late-night drivers traveling on nearby Route 17 have reported the same terrifying phenomenon. On dark, foggy nights, they see a single, bright headlight cutting through the mist, coming from the old, abandoned railway line where no tracks exist. They hear the lonely, mournful sound of a steam whistle echoing across the water. Some even claim to have seen the ghostly figures of passengers, staring out of the windows of the phantom train as it silently glides over the river, before vanishing completely into the night. They say it's the lost train, forever replaying its final, tragic journey, searching for the bridge that is no longer there. So if you ever find yourself driving along the St. Johns River on a foggy Florida night, keep an eye on the old railway path. You might just see a light in the distance and hear a whistle from the past. And if you do, you've just witnessed Florida's very own ghost train. Sound of the train whistle fades out slowly,